Hey guys, it is April 30th and we have a pretty interesting patch. This one, they're not doing any hero changes, with the exception of adding a new hero. Anduin Rin is now in the game for North America, will be in the game for Europe tomorrow. So feel free to check him out. But they are doing a decent amount of map changes. So let's talk about these. First, they're changing the ranked battlegrounds. So they're adding Garden of Terror and Hanamura Temple to the rotation. So I believe they've had enough testing and quick match for them to decide, hey, we should be putting these into ranked mode. I personally felt that Hanamura's objective was a little weak and Garden of Terror's objective was a little strong. But hey, we'll work around it and we'll have that mentality going in. They're removing Braxis and Volskaya. Personally, I thought both of these were really good for ranked rotation just because Volskaya had a lot of ways to counteract. If you started getting behind, you just collect a bunch of camps. And Braxis holdout, I could see how this one's a frustrating one for a lot of people, but after they made the changes, I really liked it. But I personally think that Hanamura fills a lot of the roles that Braxis did in the sense of, hey, you still can have a 4-man comp that has a lot of fun and does a lot pretty far from the solo lane. It's just that Hanamura has more camps to pick up and more things to do. It just has a weaker objective. So I think they fill a little bit of the same roles. Now, the full ranked rotation is going to be Alterac Pass, Battlefield of Eternity, Cursed Hollow, Dragon Shire, Garden of Terror, Hanamura, Infernal Shrines, Tomb of the Spider Queen, and Towers of Doom. So these are the maps you'll be seeing in Stormleague. The logout button has been disabled after being matched for match-made games. I guess dodging quick matches after checking hero comps. Interesting. I guess you'll just Alt F4 instead of doing the exit game. I don't know. The new hero, Anduin, we've already talked about him. We did a whole video on him. If you want to watch that, feel free to check it out. If not, no worries. But here are some of the changes that they're doing. The Battlefield of Eternity, the gate near the team's Summoner mercenary camps, now has 2 towers on either side of it. So it used to look like this, and this is before, you know how as you're like loading into the game, the towers like grow. So it only has 1 tower, and it looks a little small, but it only has 1 tower, and it's right next to the fountain. So a Genji could hide kind of up a little bit above it, and then wouldn't ever be in range, or it could just jump down below it. It wouldn't be in range and could destroy the fountain. Now it looks like this. So there are 3 towers guarding this fountain, and there's no area for a Genji to go and take damage or go and hide and take this safely without being like really far into or getting really close to the other keep that's down below it. So this is now one of the most well-guarded fountains in the game. But so that's what it looks like, and it should be pretty interesting. Dragonshire has gotten a significant change. I'll show you guys really quick what we're looking at. So it has gotten art changes on about everything, and there's a lot of details. You can see there's all these little people in here. Now, there were people in Dragonshire before, but I feel like there's a lot more that there were. The other thing is it feels way more open. This is not zoomed out, guys. This is as zoomed out as you can get without using the Z thing. But it's really incredible how it looks so much more open. I don't think it is, but it does feel that way. They've also redone all the runes that are around there, so if you walk past any of these runes, they start glowing, and I'll show that as this game goes on. But I did want to just show some of the detail of the different pieces of this map as we're going through. The fountain is really cool. There's a lot of these people that have the updated art, and they just look really, really neat. They've got statues. These are the same statues that were in the game before. I just think that they cleared up some of the details in here. So they did make these look a little odd. I don't know why they look odd. I think they just seem smaller, and that's why they're odd to me. But it does allow you to see more around this, which is kind of nice if you're in the middle of a fight. You can visually see what's going on a little bit more, so that's kind of neat. Again, these runes right here, if you walk near them, they start glowing. So it's just kind of a neat thing. It has nothing really major to do with gameplay, but generally this map looks really cool. Now I'm going to fast forward to the point where the dragon spawns. All the camps are the same. They just, again, they look way more open in their areas now. So we're going to fast forward. We're going to pick up the areas, and they look pretty cool. They're shiny, like always. And when you pick up a Dragon Knight, the whole map goes red, which is really cool. And then we still have the new dragon model that we've had before. And always try to, when you're taking these, always make sure you're only getting shot by one tower at a time, unless your team's pushing with it, and then push so you get hit by both. But if you're pushing with your dragon alone, make sure that you're hitting one at a time. So yeah, the dragon goes red. It's really, really cool. Everything goes red, and the animations are still really awesome. So that is on that new Dragon Shire's art update. Infernal Shrines, they're retuning the Punishers to be a little bit more even. The Arcane Punisher is getting a pretty big nerf in terms of scaling. His damage at level 1 is going to be pretty normal, but his scaling is going to be quite a lot lower. Frozen Punisher is getting some damage increase. The frozen areas are getting increased. The number of frozen explosions is being reduced. So you're going to see less frozen areas, but they're going to be bigger, so they're going to be harder to dodge. So if you're paying attention, it'll be a little bit easier. If you're not paying attention, it's going to be way harder. When frozen explosions damage enemy structures, they are disabled for 3 seconds. So that Punisher now has another effect that it's going to do, which is really neat. And the Mortar Punisher is going to be doing a lot more damage. Its scaling is being significantly increased. So essentially what their problem was is that there was kind of an RNG. If you started reaching late game and you got a Punisher and it was a Mortar Punisher, it wouldn't do very much. And then the enemies got a Punisher and it was an Arcane Punisher, they would end the game with it. And so they're reducing the RNG of it. Late game, the Arcane Punisher is going to be scary, but not as scary as it used to be. And the Mortar Punisher is going to be way more scary than it used to be. So the Mortar and the Arcane are going to be on equal levels for damage. And then the Frozen Punisher is going to allow extra siege damage. So if you happen to get a Frozen Punisher early game, this change is the only one that I kind of disagree with, purely because if you get a Frozen Punisher early game with the right team, that disabling structures is going to be huge. And so this could add a little bit of RNG, because this is going to be the best Punisher in the early game and then the worst Punisher in the late game, while the Mortar Punisher and the Arcane Punisher are still going to be extremely dominant in the late game. But either way, I like that they're looking at this and they're adjusting it, which is really cool. Volskaya is seeing a lot of changes, but generally what they're doing is they're making it to where it's harder to deal damage to heroes when you're piloting. So while that Protector used to be able to just dominate in team fights, now it's going to be all structure damage. Not all structure damage. You can still get kills. It's going to be a lot harder. So you're going to focus on dealing structure damage. And you do a lot more structure damage. Not just that, but the scaling of everything in the gunner has been increased. So in the beginning, it's going to be a lot of structure damage. And then if the game starts going on, the gunner is going to be able to kill heroes, while the pilot is still going to be focused on doing structure damage. So to give you an idea of the new strategy when you get this, and we'll go through all of the scaling, but you should be going for structures for everything on the beginning of the Volskaya Protector. But then as the game starts going on, you want to adjust to be mostly the gunner can go for kills, and then the pilot still goes for structures. Anyways, they're reducing the scaling for a lot of the pilot, but then they're increasing his damage flat by 50% for his basic attacks. His health is being increased, and the scaling is being increased, which is nice. So you're going to be tankier, but you're going to do less damage. Then your charge is going to be doing way more damage to structures and way less damage to everything else. And then the scaling is also being reduced. So you're going to be doing more damage to structures, less damage to everything. Rocket Fist now is going to be larger. It no longer roots heroes, but knocks them back the full distance. And I don't know if this stops on the first hero, or if you can knock back their entire team. From my understanding, it only knocks back one hero. And starting damage is being reduced. Scaling damage is being increased. So again, guys, the more you... there's certain abilities that are definitely going to be scaling. So it's like the longer the game goes, the more likely you're going to be able to get kills with the abilities. Onto the Gunner. So damage is being decreased, but scaling is being increased. The radius is being reduced on the W. The damage is being reduced. The scaling is being increased. And then the laser, the radius is being reduced. The starting damage is being reduced. And then the scaling is being increased. The scaling is being increased. And these scaling increases are huge. Like double the scaling increase, almost double the scaling increase. And then the same thing, just a little bit of reduce. So again, start with siege, go into going for kills in the late game, and then you're good to go. Collections, they are adding a. Let me leave this game really quick, and I'll show you guys what they're adding. They're adding a Anduin heroic bundle and a Footman variant skin pack. An Anduin announcer, a new mount which is Reverence, and then skin variations of it. New skins for variant Anduin. And then they're adding new emoji packs, sprays, portraits, and a bunch of other stuff. Some bug fixes. Players can no longer view Storm League enemies by using the Whisper system. That's unfortunate. And then there's some cosmetic changes to all of these. So I just wanted to cover some of the new stuff really quick. Let me get rid of that. So to look at some of this new skins, the Anduin skins, we've seen the new Neo Presidents ones. This one particularly is cool for me just because of the amount of detail that's in this bottom area. It's so cool. But otherwise, we've seen it. Reverence is the mount that you get in the bundle, and the skin variations for the mount that come in the bundle. The new skins, we have a Coltyrus for the new expansion, which is pretty neat, as well as we have some other ones. And these ones are a little interesting because they're more expensive than the other skins that you get for this style. And they're also, it says available for purchase for a limited time, which is weird because these types of skins usually are not available like that. So it's a little odd. I believe it's just for the bundle, but it could also be for the skins themselves. And we could go into all of the sprays and all that, but I'll save you guys some time, and you can do that on your own if you're interested in those sprays. So let me know what you guys think about the new map changes, as well as the new map rotations for Storm League, and the new any of the new things that have just been added in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and feel free to check out any of my other videos.